Hi guys, Boltzhaus here and welcome to this video in which I will tell you anything you need to know about active aggression. What I do know about this great title, or this great upcoming title, is that it is going to be absolutely epic. So without further ado, let's go straight into it. Active Aggression is an upcoming real-time strategy game developed by Eugene Systems, which is widely known for the Active War and War Games series. The game is stated to be a spiritual successor to Eugene Systems' previous Active War titles, hence the similarities in the titles. But personally, I think it looks like the big brother of Command & Conquer Generals. And at this point, we did get a release date, but knowing Eugene Systems, that might be earlier, that might be later. It is almost never the exact date that they give us. Richhh, the lead of Eugene Systems, did let us know that there will be a VIP beta earlier this year, probably like in the next month or this month maybe, and with a full release planned for May. But those two pieces of information will probably be altered since the game is only in pre-alpha. So with that said, let's go into the story or the synopsis of this great game. So Active Aggression is to be set in the 2020s, during which many sovereign states around the world have gone bankrupt from a massive economic crisis. And that first sentence alone gets me really just more interested into this game, because in the past like 10 years, in the past decade, there have been like 24 strategy games with, excuse my French, a bullshit story. For example, aliens invading the planet, or crystals sprouting from the ground which triggers like a resource war and all of that crap. It just did not get my attention, and this really does. It's a realistic story or scenario. It has a realistic gameplay from what I've seen, and just realistic battles, so that's really what I like to see. So anyway, that massive economic crisis results in the growth of an organization known as the Cartel. The Cartel is a shadowy group of operatives born out of private military contractors that has infiltrated numerous government organizations and agencies, taking power from the United States and the United Nations. And that act forces the United Nations to militarily respond. So that is kind of the story behind this game. And the game will also have two separate single-player campaigns. In one of them, the players will be the head of a multinational military organization created by the United Nations, known as the Chimera. And the Chimera's task force consists of super soldiers and are under UNO command. And it is formed by personnel that comes from different countries of the UN. So you will basically have a multinational army. You will have different types of infantry, different types of tanks, helicopters, you name it. And the other campaign will follow the US's efforts to rout the cartel. So Active Aggression aims to bring the players back in the 90s golden age of strategy games, implying that Active Aggression will be a traditional RTS with its gameplay similar to Command & Conquer and StarCraft. Thus, it will include base building and resource management. Speaking of resources, here is Richhh.
You know, when you grab the resources, you need at the beginning of like let's say a skirmish map or multiple map, you start. So you have to find where the resources are using a resources scout, and the resources are not, you know, like spread on the map all the time the same. So you depend when you start a map, you have to decide where the resources are, and normally, you will always find some resources close to your map, enough to start building your base.
Right.
But after this, you have to find where the other spots are, which is different in this game from other RTSs. Depending on the resource that you are harvesting. For example, if you harvest petroleum, it will be transferred into dollars when it comes to your HQ. So as soon as you get the dollars, you can use it anywhere on the map. So this is classical.
Right.
RTS is using this way. So if you have, like, for example, a factory wherever on the map, you can use, you know, the dollars. But for the other two resources that we have in the game, aluminum and rare earth elements, you need to stockpile the resources in a place that is close to your building. So if you need, for example, aluminum for you know, producing an helicopter, right, it has to be built in a factory that has resources in the HQ close to it. So the way the resources need to be stockpiled change the strategy you need to have.
So that really does buff up the fact that you will have to cut off supply routes. so that the enemy cannot basically make any more units and then attack their base. Anyway, the game will include super weapons and anti-super weapons for each of the factions, and the rare earth elements are actually a product in order to make super weapons and anti-super weapons. And each faction will upgrade in a centralized headquarters in order to unlock new units, buildings and upgrades, and skills and abilities for units can be unlocked to specialize them in roles such as anti-air, anti-tank, etc, etc. And that is going to be really good. And if we actually think back on Command & Conquer Generals, you could have this tank which had like an AA turret on top, some sort of radio beacon which healed nearby units, and like a bunker where you could store your infantry, and you will see some of that back in this game. And what I was hoping for with Wargame Red Dragon, that it would have like an in-game day and night cycle, that is actually going to happen in Active Aggression, and you will have 40 players in a multiplayer match. How epic is that? So that is basically all the information that you need to know about this game to get you riled up all about this. I will talk about the different factions and all the different units in upcoming videos. That was it for my informational video. Hope it was actually informational. Just enjoy the trailer that is going to show up in a second, and I will see you in the next one.
In the modern world, great leaders resolve their conflicts with words.